Today I'd like to talk about the Wiccan festival of Lammas, also called Lughnasadh. Lughnasadh or Lammas is the first harvest of the year. The other two harvests being Madron or Mabon and Samhain. And Lammas begins the harvest cycle, and it is at this festival that the sacrificial nature of the god is celebrated. The sacrificial god being Lu, the king of the corn. He's also a light god, and in the Celtic tradition this symbolises the waning of the light when he dies, because light begins to wane at Litha. And at Lughnasadh he is sacrificed for the fertility of the land. Now this doesn't mean that human sacrifice actually happens now, although it may have done in a long time ago. I'm talking a long time ago. People will say that whilst human sacrifice doesn't happen now, we have to acknowledge that maybe it did once happen. We can never know for sure. But now there is no blood sacrifice, and it is symbolised that he dies for the fertility of the land, so that the harvest may be good next year and for the rest of this year. And he is subsequently resurrected as he lives on inside the mother goddess at this time as a child, and he is going to be reborn at Yule as the spark of light that illuminates the land and then grows, and the life and death cycle begins again. It's at this time when grain is harvested that in some traditions there's something called, I think it's called crying the neck in parts of Cornwall. Whether that still goes on, I'm not entirely sure. But everyone who's been harvesting the corn would stand with their backs to the last standing up sheaf of corn, and all throw the sickles at the sheaf to cut it down and sacrifice it for the fertility of the land. And this would ensure that the land was fertile, and from this corn you would grind up to make flour, to make the bread for the feast, for the harvest feast time. And then there would also be corn dollies made from the corn, and these were a symbol of the mother goddess and of fertility, and they would be hung over the fireplace of the main homestead and in barns and places to encourage fertility for the remainder of the year. And these would then be burnt at the spring equinox, which is called Ostara, and the ashes of these would be scattered in the fields or on any ground that was to grow crops for the fertility of the land for the rest of the year. Now, the covens and groups that celebrate this festival now generally make a corn king out of corn or out of bread to sacrifice in the ritual or celebration, and also a wheat sheaf loaf is made as a symbol of the harvest, because that's just more simple than trying to obtain that amount of corn to make a large corn king. And also smaller male figures may be made, and even gingerbread men. They are commonly used for and eaten by children at this festival, to make it fun, because kids like gingerbread. So also a tradition now associated with Lammas or Lughnasadh is bread baking, because this is a festival to do with the grain, because of the sacrificial corn king Lu, and so it's bread baking is very common at this time. Whereas things more associated with the other festivals are more like root vegetables and apples and things like that, and pumpkins obviously with Samhain. And also at this festival, altars are generally decorated with golden colours and fruit and the first fruits of the season, and colours such as orange and red and deep yellows and all that because they're colours of the harvest. And this festival, in times past, as it was originally a pagan festival, obviously still is, but when Christianity came to this country, it was Christianised, so as to put Christian overtones on a pagan festival, meaning that trying to convert pagan people, basically. And in Christianised, and I'm not entirely sure what the Christianised version of this festival is, because it's largely died out, really, in the Christianised form, because I suppose they thought once they converted everyone, they didn't need it, I suppose. But and I read once on the internet, because the only thing I do know about the Christianised form is that it was more of a pastoral festival, and all to do with animals and things. And I read one very witty source on the internet once that said, how about the Christian church trying to Christianise Lammas, and then this person said, you can just imagine an early Christian priest saying, "Lammas? We can do that here. We can get all the people to bring their lambs to church. What a great idea!" I just thought that's hilarious. But so that's Lammas, celebrated on August the 1st, which is soon coming up because today is the 24th of June. I mean, it doesn't sound that soon, but trust me, it'll come round quick. And happy Lammas, wherever and whenever you're going to celebrate it. Even if you're watching this video in October or whenever, have a happy Lammas, the next Lammas. Blessed be. Goodbye.